Hi, welcome to another round of training with Fernando and Jim. Today's topic is going to be green floors and S&G, what we're doing about it, giving you a little product information so you can make sure you're giving the customer the up-to-date information, if you will. So with that being said, Fernando did a bunch of research on this. I really appreciate it. He's got a ton of really good points to make. So with that being said, Fernando, let's dive right into it. What's the story with green floors?
Well, the term green, just kind of get broad and basic, it's basically eco-friendly or environment-friendly. Basically what that means is it's an attempt to minimize the harm to the planet with any product you sell or any way you do something. The importance of this is it's a growing topic everywhere. Everything you turn on talks about green and renewable, and it's starting to basically filter over into the flooring industry, so we wanted to be as on top of it and as ahead of the curve as possible.
Okay, great, great.
There's basically four ways. I basically broke it down into four ways that a product can be green. And you know, there's a little bit of creativity here, and you may come up with some additional ideas that I haven't even thought of, and feel free to use those. Basically, the first thing I talk about is where a product comes from could be something that makes it green. For example, recycled material. A directly recycled product that S&G sells every day on every single carpet job virtually is pad. All of our pad that we sell is basically recycled product. We have bins all over that at each of the stores where we recycle pad ourselves, and the product we're selling is a recycled product, so right then and there it's green. Another great example would be our laminate floors. That wouldn't be directly recycled, but indirectly it is. Basically anytime what the laminate companies do is they harvest all of that sawdust from many different industries, and that's what they use to create the core boards that laminates are made of. They basically take all that, they mix it in with the rest of the ingredients in their core, they press it, and that's where they get a majority of your laminate floor is reused sawdust. Another great example of a recycled product or a green floor is our PET product, which we're all very proud of. Our whole lifetime series is the Advanced Generation PET. That's the recycled plastic bottles that are food grade and are very stain resistant. That is recycled product, and I would consider that very green myself.
Okay, great, great. So first step of green can be in the manufacturing.
Additionally, another place we can get some green products is from renewable sources. Two things that we haven't gotten huge into, but we definitely offer and we do have customers buying, would be your bamboo products and your cork products. Why are those green? Because it's very quick growth product. I mean, bamboo practically grows like weeds. It's readily available, easy to harvest, and it's constantly growing, so it doesn't result in any deforestation. Another example would be the cork, like I mentioned. Cork is one of the coolest products, I think, when you think of something green, because you're not even cutting anything down. You're literally taking a tree that's surrounded in this cork, and you're basically stripping it down to its core. It's still standing, it's still growing, you haven't impacted it, and over a 7-year process, all that cork will regenerate, and then you're able to harvest it again. So it's actually a product it's the giving tree, if you will, the cork tree. Another item of a renewable product is fast growth woods, and woods that are being cut down in a way where, when they're cutting down the tree, they're immediately replanting a fast growth product, so several years down the line they can go back to that and reuse it, and they're not necessarily stripping the environment, but they're replacing what they're taking, which I think would be considered very green.
Yeah, in fact, most of the major manufacturers now, I know it's required that for every tree that they cut down, they're actually planting 3, 4, 5, up to 7 trees in its place. So there will be a time when there's more trees on Earth than what there currently are. So.
And kind of that leads right into my next point, would be using woods that come from FSC certified forests and products that are Lacey Act compliant, which we're actually going to talk about a little bit more later on. And then finally, another simple renewable product is wool. You have the sheep walking around, time for a haircut. They trim the wool off the sheep. They use it for carpet. They use it for area rugs, which we sell. And no harm, no foul to the sheep. It goes along its merry way and grows it back, a year or two later, and we take some more. So that's another great example of a green product just by being renewable.
Okay, great, great. So we have it in the manufacturing as well as in the not harming anything when we're actually getting the fiber or the product.
The next subject I go into is basically the actual manufacturing at the manufacturing plant. There are things there that you can refer to when you're talking to your customer about the product being green. Perfect example is in the United States, our carpet industry has actually really moved in the green direction, thanks in large part to the CRI, which is the Carpet and Rug Institute. That, again, is something we're going to talk about more later. But one thing the manufacturing plants have done is they've taken huge steps to try and reduce our carbon footprint, another term you probably hear quite a bit now. And that's basically what they're doing, is they've kind of reworked a lot of their processes to try and use less water. They try to use less electricity, and they're trying to minimize the amount of exhaust coming from their manufacturing. By exhaust, I'm referring to, when you go drive through some industrialized cities, you see the plumes of smoke coming out. They've tried to really reduce that and how much that's affecting the environment. And again, that goes back to another item, which is the CRI, the Carpet and Rug Institute. They've enacted a bunch of new laws to try and minimize the VOC usage, or the VOCs from the products we're selling. And that's just another form of the carpet industry kind of self-governing and trying to do our best to reduce what we're emitting into the environment. And then finally, on the hardwood side of things, as we talked about a couple weeks ago in the hardwood training, we have the Maximus line and the Windsor line. And that, specifically that particular line, and many others, but that one in particular came up the other week, the fact that they're using the cold press method of putting together their product versus the hot press. And the benefit to that was the fact that they're using less harmful chemicals for the environment, it's chemicals that produce fewer VOCs, which is the volatile organic compounds we'll be going over later, that are better for your family and friends when they're in your home and on a new floor that may have some off-gassing happening.
Okay, great. And I think we had one more area of
actually two.
Green. Okay.
The next one, obviously, first it's where it comes from.
Okay.
Okay. The next one is where does it go after it's been in the home? What does that mean? Basically, it's the fact that the products, once they're done being used, they can be recycled. A perfect example of that is the fact that all of our S&G installers recycle pad for us. That is to say, when they go into the home and they're tearing out the old carpet and old pad to replace it with either new carpets or other types of floor covering, they actually take the time to separate all the pad out from the carpet and the other shake that we're going to be disposing of, and they actually bring that back and they recycle it. And S&G is we've always been a little bit ahead of the curve on this. We've made sure that all of our stores have pad recycling facilities on site where we can collect the pad for the installer, and then we have companies that come out and take it away so it can be recycled, which I think is a really, being green just with that simple fact. In addition, carpet itself is starting to become recyclable.
Right.
We're in the infancy of that, but they're starting to produce carpet fibers that can be recycled once they're done being used, and we're thinking as this cycle goes through and those carpets start to come out, probably the next phase we'll probably have receptacle bins for the carpet as well, so that can be taken out and get recycled.
Right. I know in some different states they actually have recycling companies that do that already. So California, we're not quite there yet. Generally because of the amount of wages and the cost with doing it, but in the near future there will be on-site carpeting recycling.
Perfect. And another thing I wanted to mention is just on that whole recycling kick, the fact that we recycle all that pad. If you ever go out to the bin areas at any of your stores, you'll notice how big those things are, and the pad fills up fast. I would guess we probably dump 30% less because we recycle our pad than if we didn't.
Okay.
And soon in Rancho, we'll be recycling cardboard as well. So that'll be another way that we're trying to be green as a company.
Okay, great.
And another big one, last topic I'll mention for this section, is the fact that the longevity of our floors. We're starting to sell a lot of floors that we could virtually consider forever floors. Tile floors, hardwood floors that can be refinished. We're talking about selling customers products that they can have last for 30, 40, 50 years. And just by the fact that they're not going to be replacing it 6 times during that span of time, in effect, we're being green.
Okay. We're going to stop right now with our first section. The second part, we're going to take a quick break, get into that, and go a little bit more in detail on some of the terms and what they mean to you. Thank you.